Welcome back to Que Pasa Nashville. My name is Christina Allen, and I'm excited to introduce my two new guests. We have Anna Young, who's the Director of Education and Outreach for the Nashville Opera, and you brought Justin Colon, who's a language coach with the new children's show Abrazo De Oso, Hugs of a Bear. Is that correct?
Exactly, bear hug.
Bear hug. So thank you both for being on the show. I'm very excited to have you because the Nashville Opera, which we'll talk about a bit, is doing launching a children's shows, which they've done every year, but this one's a bilingual one.
Exactly.
Tell me about it.
Yes, we're thrilled to begin our education and outreach tour with Abrazo De Oso. We started just yesterday. We're going to reach about 43 schools in Middle Tennessee, and it was very important for me, I thought, to start a piece like this because we know that the diversity in Nashville is changing. We have this growing Latino community, and I thought, what a fabulous opportunity to show our Spanish speakers in the city and the area around that we want to honor the culture, and we want to show them that Nashville Opera cares, and we want to welcome them with this piece. And I think this is a great way to start the conversation.
It is Bear Hug, Abrazos De Oso, and you help do the Spanish or teach the Spanish language songs and
Correct. So I worked with young artists on their Spanish diction, and just basically making what was already something so excellent just that much, take it that much further.
And you're bilingual and Latino yourself,
correct,
right?
Correct.
Your family comes from Puerto Rico?
Correct.
Well, and
Correct.
then, you know, with seeing the growth of our Nashville children and our diversity, it is beautiful to see a play or some attention to diversity and it's a story of four bears.
Four bears that are from different countries. The overall idea, the theme of the piece is that no matter where you're from, what you look like, or what language you speak, we're all more alike than we are different, and we should celebrate those differences, and that's what makes the world a beautiful place.
And so I know that the shows are going to be throughout February and March, and I know we're going to have the website that we have here, which is?
It is nashvilleopera.org/bear-hug for our free community performances.
There's a lot of free community performances, and I would take my children there because it's just to show them the beauty of art, culture. And I do believe entertainment, culture, art is the first one to really see the people being accepting, from the song Despacito, and every Anglo is dancing it, to just music. I mean, it doesn't matter if you connect to music or a play, you're going to see and feel what everyone else is feeling. Everyone becomes the same. So understanding this community and our changes in our demographic shift, they allowed you to do this. So this is your creation, you produced this.
Yes.
How did you know how to do that?
Well,
what inspired you to do it then?
Right, this was something I was thinking about since I began the job here at Nashville Opera as the Director of Education. And before I did this kind of work, I was a singer myself.
Okay.
And I performed throughout the schools. I spent a lot of time in Florida, actually, and I saw a lot of diversity in those schools as well. And in my experience, we only performed operas in English for children, and I thought, you know, I think that there's room for us to grow in producing and creating pieces that are meaningful for more than one culture. And we actually had our first performance yesterday at Cockrell Elementary School.
And I'm sure they loved it.
They loved it, and there's about 30% of their population in the school are Spanish-speaking children. And
so how did you bring him involved?
So Justin is a local opera singer here in Nashville, and he's actually covering our emerging artist program.
Okay.
And he's covering one of the roles. He is our understudy grizzly bear in
Okay, so what are the
Abrazo De
roles right
Oso.
now? So you can sing in there if you need to?
Correct.
Yes.
So,
And what kind of like the music? How did you choose the music?
Well, I actually chose the music.
And so you just kind of helped?
He's helped with the language
So
and the diction, yeah.
And so what do you do exactly with those singers?
So basically, I work on pronunciation.
¿Y hablas español?
Sí, claro que sí.
Okay, so you do speak Spanish,
Yes,
okay.
of course. And work with them to basically just improve and make a more native sound with speakers that aren't
Is it also
native speakers.
is something like this also to engage the children to have an appreciation for opera?
Exactly, and it's zarzuela, so that's traditional Spanish opera that's not performed very often. So I set the story, the original story that I came up with this theme that I thought would be a wonderful idea to make sure that we're all, I mean, it's a timely moral of that we're all more alike than we are different, and the diversity and changes in Nashville. But Zarzuela is so vibrant. There's so much fabulous music that's just not performed, and I had an interest, and when I started to research and I found all these fantastic composers, it's such a wonderful opportunity to bring.
But we still see more of the Nashville. I know you did the Amazon about a few years ago.
We did.
And I can't remember the name of that show.
Florencia, no?
Florencia.
It's Amazon.
Which was a beautiful Latin flair of opera, and a lot of us I went to the opera and I saw so many of my Latino friends seeing it and appreciating it. And how do we trickle that down to our children? Is what you're trying to do, is the opera of the music. As a singer, how did you get interested in singing?
So singing has been always a big part of culture. You know, Hector Lavoe, Tito Puente grew up listening to salsa and believe it or not, a lot of gospel music. My grandmother loved gospel music. So it's always been a part of just my culture and just who I am. And so started getting involved singing very early on in church and whatnot. Opera came much later, got the bite, as they call it, and then it was off to the races.
Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles
So
area.
as we see a movement of Latinos coming here, and then you having an opportunity to not only create and produce, but have someone to pull in at this level.
Right.
I mean, that's what Nashville's becoming. We're able to see the professional, the educated, or people who have that desire to be part of something you're creating. And so it's really exciting I can't wait to see it, for the fact that, one, it's an initiative you did here, created and produced, understanding our demographic shift, but understanding you have to get the right players to do it as well.
Exactly.
Great response from everyone.
Oh my gosh, yes. And when our Bernardo is our Spanish brown bear, and he sings and speaks almost exclusively in Spanish.
Wow.
And when he comes out and he starts singing in Spanish, the children's faces, especially, they just lit up. And I thought automatically we have this connection, and we're connecting with them in a way that maybe they wouldn't have felt if it had just been an English piece.
God, I hope we can get it for the parents to see again sometime.
It's
so we are going to say
fantastic.
that, so it's, go ahead and give me an overview. I know it's playing throughout the month of February and March, and it is called Bear Hug, Abrazo De Oso. And if you go to the website, nashvilleopera.org/bears-hug, you can see the performances, the community performances, and try to get parents there. I mean, that's what we want.
That's what we want.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks
I'm
for
so
having
excited
us.
that you're doing this and the initiative, and you have the support.
It's an honor.
And understanding our demographic shift, and our children need to be relevant and relate to things. So thank you both for being on the show and doing this initiative.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining Que Pasa Nashville as we talk about the opportunities and challenges Latinos bring to Middle Tennessee, the beauty of what people are creating for our community, as well as a global outreach too. Muchas gracias.